sportmartialarts.com. How are you doing? Welcome to another interview. This one we've been waiting on for quite some time. This one might be the most anticipated interview in Gilbert's Gripes history. I'm with none other than legendary fighter, the King of New York, world champion, world-renowned, Mr. Johnny Tention. Welcome to the show. Thank you for having me here. I'm glad to have Mr. Tention here. I'm not going to try to bore you with this man's stats, but Wacko, NASCAR, worldwide, everything. I'm going to get into all the good stuff. We're going to get into some separation issues that he had back in the day. We're going to talk about how he got where he's at. We're going to talk about some of the fighters that he's training. We're going to talk about some of the great things that he's doing at Tention Martial Arts. And we're just going to get into everything. And the beautiful part about this man is he stands by his word and he's brutally honest. So I'm going to put the Gilbert's Gripe disclaimer out there now. When you got Johnny Tention here, you're going to hear some truth. You might not like it, but you will respect it at the end of this interview. Mr. Tention, yes, what have you been doing the last 2 years or so in the circle? I see you come in and out. When you come in like a whirlwind. You come in, you whoop on some of these young dudes, and then you rest a little bit. And then you come back. What's going on with the in and out? What exactly are you up to these days?
I've been blessed. I've been training a lot. Let my body rest a little bit.
Okay.
But I like to come out there, just dominate a little bit. Come out there, show that I still got it. I've been doing this for fighting black belt men since '93. So at this stage in the game, for me, it's not about the world titles. It's not about a particular name. Okay. Been there, done that. It's just more about coming out there, showing a high level of martial arts, doing it on the right level. I want to outsmart them still. Okay. So it's not attribute based, regardless of age. You can fight the best of the best guys and beat them. So it's just sometimes an ego thing. Sometimes it's just want to come out there and just shock the world a little bit, shake it up a little bit.
Now let's talk about New York. New York got classic fighters. New York is known for great fighters. Yourself, Jerry Fondes, the Rays, the list goes on and on and on. Tell me some of the guys in New York that some of the world haven't maybe heard of, that they only did their thing in New York a little bit bigger than that, but some of the great fighters that you saw coming up in the New York area that inspired you to be the martial artist that you are now.
There's a lot of guys that never really went out big, but went out a little bit. Akin Williams is definitely one of them.
Yes, nice.
Gene Frazier, Gene Lewiston, aka Exotic, Diego Lopez. I mean, those guys came out a little bit, but not really. Chris Styles, highly underrated fighter, one of the most talented fighters I've ever seen. Frank Jones, just a little bit. I mean, some of these guys touched the surface, but never really went out there hard for 2, 3, 4, 5 years as adults. Just so many guys. I think the next up and coming guy, personally, in New York City is Troy Banks. I really think that.
You putting that stamp on it?
I'm putting that stamp on it. I think
Johnny Tention stamp right now. You don't put a lot of Troy. We just put a whole lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
The King of New York just gave you the next dude stamp. You got to do your thing.
I think that Troy Banks has that potential. Definitely.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell me about your Wacko experience when I believe you went to Italy. Was that Italy or was that Germany?
I went to Paris.
Paris. Tell me about Paris and how the competition was and.
The beautiful thing about international competition is this. You got to be in shape. Those guys fighting 3-2-3-minute rounds, 3-3-minute rounds. You can't fall on the floor. You don't get rewarded 2 points for kicking me to my body. You're working for everything. It shouldn't be, And before I go, I think a lot of times, a lot of these fighters get away that 2 points is to the body, and it makes a lot of them look better than what they really are. A lot of them that's out there. A lot of them. And I think in the Wacko thing, everything is earned. Other than the crappy jab to the body, but everything is earned. I think that it's just, you fight so many different styles because you're really fighting different people from different countries. So I think that's definitely, I think if you don't have to travel worldwide, personally, you can't really claim yourself to be a world title without a passport. You're a world champion, but you don't have a passport.
You ain't got no stamp.
You ain't got no stamp
saying you're a world champion.
Exactly. You've been to Russia, you've been all over.
That makes sense.
So I just think that you got to put it on the line. You just can't sit here under certain circuits here and then say, well, I'm the world champ because I did this. But I think the European experience, the pressure, the being in an unfamiliar territory, different fighters that you never saw, to fight those guys, I think it was one of the best experiences I ever had, ever.
Awesome. And if you want to see some of that footage, it's all over YouTube with Johnny killing these guys in Paris. You just get to see this guy using ring smarts, high fight IQ, and he's absolutely just killing these guys with what I believe works, which is the basics.
Yes, absolutely.
All the other stuff is fancy, it's beautiful,
Absolutely.
but the basics bring it to the dance. Bring it to the dance.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to talk about teams a little bit. You've been on some great teams from, TDS. Even fought Barry's best when we first looked up back in '98.
One of my best experiences.
Oh my God, Paul Mitchell, straight up, all stars. You've done it all. So we get into teams a little bit. Tell me about. Let's start off with Elite. With Elite, when you guys came out with Elite, TDS, you guys just look like you guys were just on some other. Like you guys just came to conquer the world. You guys weren't the big dogs on campus, but all of a sudden you guys took it to a next level. What was that like coming up for those guys that are in your position now when you're just coming up in the game and you're going after the full circles, the all stars, the Paul Mitchells? What was that like for you coming up in the game?
Man, Elite was one of my best experiences because I genuinely love those guys. I mean, it was me, Akin, Jesse Ray, Frank Jones, Henry Santiago, Tony Young, Anthony Price, Richard Plowden, Terry Kramer, Ibby Abdullah. Now, it was just so many more guys, but just so many guys there. And Jerry, all of us, and it was just, none of us was really established other than the vets.
Right.
But the vets wasn't really trying to shine. They was just trying to give us guidance. And it was just having that hungry fire of looking at your team member eye to eye, and you didn't care about who was on what team. You just was like, listen, y'all, we gonna bring that fire to you. I don't care who your name is, what's your rep. It was just pure. I think it was raw talent. Okay. We had the raw talent. We wasn't scared. Kind of like if I had to put it in a hip hop term, like we was underground.
Okay.
We was the mixtape. These dudes went pop. But it didn't mean it was the best. It just mean that the machine pushed them. And I think that was the first experience of. It taught me how to be a professional. Other than that, I was still hitting dudes late a lot, doing things. But I think that's important that you establish that respect. And I think cleaning that up a little bit, fine-tuning it for the game, and still keeping that hunger and that heart really propelled me to take it to that next level.
Now, a little bit after that time, let's talk about a lot of people might not know, which is one of the best promotions I personally believe in the late 90s, was there were some articles out in the New York City area, and they dubbed Mr. Tention the super fighter. I remember seeing these articles, and I was saying to myself, this is actually what our sports need. We need to show the personality of the fighters. We need to promote the fighters a little bit more. I don't know what happened to the guy that used to write those articles, but I love what you were doing.
He's here today.
Man, I got to talk to him. I love what you were doing, and we're going to keep it going on here at sportmartialarts.com. Now, the super fighter thing. You got dubbed the super fighter and you went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and then your next team was, I believe you got on Paul Mitchell a little bit after that era. What was it like when you first got the call, and in the beginning portions of your time Paul Mitchell, how was it for you?
Okay, when I first got the invite Paul Mitchell, let me say this with all due respect, sir. That's when it was an elite team. High quality fighters. It was Pedro Xavier, John Valera, John Payton, Brian Rue, Didi Baptista, Reggie Perry, Steve Babcock, Mike Pombero, Preston Clemens, K.A., Kaduka was still fighting a little bit, and I didn't want to do it. So at this time, I wasn't on the lead anymore.
Okay.
Right, I was solo, and I didn't want to do it because I wanted to beat them. I wanted to beat them.
That motivates you. Why would you not want to beat the Cowboys? Why would you not want to beat the Yankees?
I wanted to beat them. I didn't want to be with them. And
a lot of people are like that.
Reggie Perry called me and said, "Come on, man. I want to fight with you." And I was like, "Well, listen, I think about it."
Okay.
Then Didi Baptista called me and said, "I want to fight with you." I think about it. I really was on some. I really want to beat these guys.
Okay.
And then when Pedro called me, that right there put it in another perspective.
I got you.
No disrespect to Reggie, that's my best friend, but Pedro, we all looked at Pedro like, man. So when he called me, I was like, man, that right there just opened the door. And then when John Valera called me, now I'm not a forms guy, but I had so much respect for John because I could see the fight in his form.
Right, he worked. He was a hard worker.
I could see that.
Valera was a hard worker.
That's what really, between John Valera, Pedro, Reggie, and Didi was the real main reasons I wanted to do it. I did it. And my mother said to me, I told her about the situation. She said, well, I said, I want to beat you. She said, Johnny, you need to get with guys who have the same like minds as you, that want to be great, and get with them, and you'll grow even more. And I was like, all right. And I can honestly say the first time I got on Paul Mitchell, Mike Pombero's in the huddle, I'm in the huddle, Brian Root, Pedro, and the information.
The ego meter too must have been this high.
And I'm a kid coming in, but the information in the huddle, what these guys was telling me, was just
that's priceless.
Jody, do this guy's gonna do this. I never heard that kind of talk in the huddle. And I'm just like, because we came up like, listen, take it to him. That was our thing. And then when these guys was like, with that attitude coupled with good information, then I was just like, Jody, cut an angle to your left, do this, and I was just like, wow, this is, and that just took it to a whole nother level. Being around those guys, winners, being around straight winners.
That's huge, right?
Yes.